Jewel of the Seas, it specifically says, do not cross that yellow line. Most people think you got to do something huge to get banned from a cruise ship, like start a fight or commit a crime. But nope, sometimes it's a whole lot smaller and a whole lot stranger. Like there was a couple who they turned their balcony into a full-blown Showtime event and ended their vacation in handcuffs. Or the guy who decided to climb over a railing for a stunt and found out real fast that was going to be his last Royal Caribbean cruise. And trust me, those are just the warm-up. From CBD Gummies to casino accusations to throwing deck chairs into the ocean, these bans just keep getting more and more unbelievable. Stick with me to the end because the last ones will absolutely blow your mind. Hey friend, I'm Linnell and I live full-time on cruise ships. If you're new here, welcome. If you're not, welcome back. I am here on Royal Caribbean's Jewel of the Seas and we are docked here in Nassau, Bahamas. And I was sick the first couple of days. I had a cold, and I am not one to do anything when I have even the least bit of sickness. So for the last couple of days, I've been just hanging around this cabin here, this wonderful balcony cabin that they gave me for free. I'll talk about that at another time. But yeah, for the last couple of days, I just been resting so I can get back to my regular self because I'm getting ready to go on Star of the Seas. So I want to be 100% for that cruise because it's the, new shiny bells. Anyway, focus. So anyway, while I was recuperating, just hanging around, watching some Netflix movies, watching some movies on Prime TV. Did y'all know that Ice Cube had a version of War of the Worlds movie out there? I did not. I came across that. I don't think it should be called War of the Worlds, but that's for another time. Okay, outside of watching movies and just resting, sleeping, taking medicine, sleeping, taking medicine, sleeping, I also took some time to read the cruise contract for Royal Caribbean because that's what us nerdy cruise people do. Anyway, I was like, these things that I hear people are getting banned from cruises, are these things actually in the policy? Yes, not only are they in the policy, but there's some surprising things that is in that cruise contract that you would be shocked of what you can get banned for. I'm going to go over some of the craziest things that people have gotten banned for on cruise ships, but a couple of things I wanted to point out that I learned when I was looking at the cruise contract. Don't worry, I ain't finna read it to you word for word. But there is this one part of the policy that it says this policy shall apply on board our vessels and ashore in terminals, ports of call, and private destination. So it doesn't matter if you are on the ship, if it's in the parking lot at the terminal, if it's in the terminal, so you're on your way to the cruise, if you are on an excursion, if you are off the ship, but you're over here in Nassau, Bahamas, or on the private island, or in Aruba, wherever you are in port, if it is during your cruise, then you can get banned for it. So you can get banned from cruising for life on Royal Caribbean. So be aware of that. If you don't believe me, go check it out. It's right there. And if you don't sail on Royal, but you sail on one of the other cruise lines, I'm pretty sure that they have something very similar. Of course, I haven't read every cruise contract, but I would say before you book a cruise, or if you think of doing anything out of the ordinary, make sure you read over the contract. Another big thing that I was surprised about is that not only can you be banned for life, anyone in your cabin can be banned for life. Basically, long story short, anybody that you are associated with on your cruise, believe it or not. Even to the point where if you are on a group cruise and let's say there's 10, 20, 30, 50 people in your cruise, some of these people you don't even know. They just happen to be with the same travel agent or whatever in the same group cruise or whatever. Or it could be family member and then, a cousin or a friend of a friend or blah, 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 who came on. Yes, they are considered a part of your party. And either your actions can get them banned from cruising for life, or their actions can get you banned from cruising for life. Don't take my word for it. Go look it up. It's right there in the contract. I'm just as shocked as you are. I'm just the messenger right now. So, yeah. But anyway, let me talk about some of these things that I was looking up and I was like, whoa, people actually got banned for that. Some of the things it's like, okay, that's obvious. You shouldn't have been doing that. But is it really in the contract that you can't do that? So, balcony showtime. Public indecency will have you packing your bags mid-cruise. For example, in 2012, which that was a while ago, but I'm sure there's probably some more stories out there, but this is the probably the most interesting one that I saw. In 2012, two men on an Atlantis charter, they were arrested in Dominica for public sexual balcony while they were docked. So even though they were docked, they were on their private balcony. They were in a spot where other people could see them or the camera could see them. I'm not sure of the specifics behind that, but they were not only kicked off the ship to fend for themselves, find their way back home, but they were banned from cruising, even though the ship was docked. Climbing balcony railings or jumping off. One stupid stunt and you're banned for life. For example, there was a case in 2019 where a man jumped off the deck of Royal Caribbean Symphony of the Seas, which I am booked on that cruise for this year. I'm excited about it. But yeah, he jumped off the deck of Royal Caribbean Symphony of the Seas in Nassau, which is where I am now. And guess what? Yep, he was banned permanently. Some of these actions that people have been banned for, it was implied or just under a general umbrella of behavior. But some of these things that I'm talking about are explicitly listed in the contract that you digitally sign before you cruise. For instance, bringing illegal drugs, weapons, or lasers. There's zero tolerance and there's no second chance. Smoking on balconies or indoors. I have on this ship here, Jewel of the Seas, and the ship I just got off of, Freedom of the Seas, I saw people walking in the common areas, not outside, inside. Like one was over on this ship, it was over near coming out of the main dining room. Was it the main dining room or the Lido? One of the dining places, in like right by the atrium area. And then on Freedom of the Seas, the guy was walking, well, I was standing in line at guest services. He was walking right between me and the guest services area, right in front of the people. Nobody said anything right then. In both of these cases, nobody caught them, but I saw both of these people vaping as they're walking by and blowing out the smoke. Really? Smoking and vaping is not permitted in the common areas on the inside of the ship. They're only permitted in select public areas on board, and they tell you where you can smoke and vape. So yeah, I don't think that they thought that maybe they were doing anything wrong, or they knew and they just didn't think that they would get caught, or that they're risking being banned from cruising for life. But yeah, you can get banned from cruising for life, and everybody in your party. So if you are smoking or vaping in areas that are strictly forbidden, and you're not only risking the steep penalties, but also if you are a repeat violator, then that could get you banned from cruising for life on Royal Caribbean ships. This one goes without saying: public nudity outside of designated topless areas, which that wouldn't be on the regular cruises, at least not none of the cruises that I'm on. But I have been on one ship. It was a long time ago, and we had the kids with us. I can't remember if it was Royal or Carnival. It had to be one of those because those were the only two that we sailed on. But at the very top of the ship, they did have a topless area, and it said adults only, and topless. Needless to say, I hope my kids never made it up there. I don't know what them jokers be doing when they out of my sight, but that was, I can't remember what year it was or which ship, but I haven't seen any ships recently on Royal or Carnival or the four lines that I've cruised on that have topless areas that are designated for topless. But there could be, and it could be on one of the ships that you're on. So anyway, outside of the designated topless areas, nudity is against the rules. So keep that in mind. On this ship here, and I'll try and put some B-roll in. On this ship here, the way my balcony cabin is, all of the balcony cabins are not like this, but the way my balcony cabin is, it's an extended balcony cabin, and there's just a little short, I don't know what you call it, you'll see what I'm talking about, but in this little area here, I can just lean my head over and see the balcony areas of the people next to me, and vice versa. They can just look in mine. And if some kids were doing something crazy, I always say kids, it's not even kids. If a person wanted to do something crazy, they could just hop over and come into my balcony. Hopefully they won't do that. Of course, I keep my curtains closed when I'm, asleep or something or dressing or something like that. And I make sure I keep the balcony door locked and keep the child lock on just as an extra safety precaution. But yeah, you could be having extracurricular activities with your partner or spouse, and unbeknownst to you, other people can see it. Cameras, a little kid, someone in the next ship across the way, whatever the case may be. If they can see you, you are in violation of the policy. Not only can they kick you off the ship, not give you a refund, leave you on one of these islands that you're going to, and you have to find your own way home, but also they can put a ban for life where you never cruise again. Harassment, abusive language, or vandalism, all of those can result in immediate removal and permanent ban. Another thing that's listed is prohibited items. Even though, to my knowledge, people don't get banned for life for these items, it is under that umbrella where if they wanted to, they could ban you for life. For bringing these things. But I think because these are so commonplace and a lot of people are not doing them intentionally, where some people are, but a lot of people are not doing them intentionally, that they don't want to discourage people. They don't want to discourage people from cruising by, having an accidental, I thought I could bring an iron, but I couldn't, or whatever. So for the most part, they're not going to kick people off and ban people for life for these items, but they are prohibited, and it is in that section where if they wanted to, they could ban you for life. The prohibited items that are in this category are candles, irons, hoverboards, and any other banned item that can be confiscated. There are other items that they list as not approved or prohibited items to bring on the ship, but these items are in the section where it specifically says you can be banned from cruising. And especially if you are a repeat offender. So I don't know if they actually keep a record of, my name and I brought this and they had to confiscate it. Again, next cruise, my name, I brought this and I had to confiscate it. If they are keeping a record of that, because they do write when you do bring something, because I've had it done twice to me. One, I didn't know for the last cruise I was on, they took my extension cord, which that's a new rule. So I can understand why that's not something that hardly nobody knew about it, because I'm an experienced cruiser and I didn't know about it. It's a new rule. Now, this is probably going to shock a lot of you, but another thing that's under the area where you can get banned for life is reserving public seating or being a noise nuisance. So any kind of disruptive behavior is not tolerated. That's what they say in the policy. And yes, repeat offenders can get banned for life from cruising for that. CBD gummies, that goes without saying, even with the minimal THC. I'm talking like I know what I'm talking about. I don't know what that stuff is. I hear about it in the news and stuff, but if it was right here in front of my face, I wouldn't even know what it is. But trying to bring that stuff on board, that can get you not only refused from boarding, but they can blacklist you forever. And anytime you try to book a cruise, your name is going to pop up. I don't know how they do it, name, date of birth, whatever. It's going to pop up and they're not going to even let you book a cruise. They might let you book a cruise, but then before it's time for you to actually come, they're going to find out that you were on that blacklist and they're going to cancel your cruise and give you a refund. Now, this was a different cruise line, but in 2023, a Texas woman was denied boarding and given a lifetime ban from Carnival cruises after CBD gummies were found in her luggage.
At 5, a cruise line bans a woman for life after an incident at the port in Miami.
Yeah, she tried to take CBD Gummies on board and learned a tough lesson about cruising rules. Fox 35's Chris Lindsay spoke with her today, and he's joining us live right now. So, Chris, she has a warning for anyone sailing the high seas.
That's right. When you're packing for a trip, it's usually easy to remember not to pack anything illegal. In this case, this woman thought she had done just that. She still ended up in some trouble.
I don't deserve something like that to be recorded on my name.
Erin Van Veldhuizen was headed on a cruise with her family. When terminal workers looked inside her bag, they found CBD gummies. She says they had no THC at all, and she brought them to help her sleep.
And I'm thinking at this point she's just going to destroy it or something. I'm just going to watch her destroy it. I haven't really thought anything of it too much.
Instead,
then the captain finally came down, and the man said, based on the weight of your gummies, you won't be able to board.
They also banned her from taking any Carnival cruises moving forward. Cruise expert Stuart Sharon says the incident highlights why it's important to always check the cruise line's website before you pack.
The point is they do have certain items that are not allowed on board the ships, and people need to adhere to those rules in order to keep themselves and everybody else as safe. And look, the idea is you're going on vacation, have fun.
He says just because a substance is legal at point A, that doesn't mean you can legally bring it to point B.
Another person that got banned from cruising for life was someone who threw some stuff overboard. Toss anything into the sea or the ocean and expect a lifetime ban. I mean, that's just a given, right? A Carnival passenger, Carnival banned a passenger for life after there was a video that surfaced of them throwing deck chairs overboard on the Carnival Sunrise. I don't know what they was on. I don't know how long they was on it, but come on, common sense stuff, right? Another thing, I wouldn't have thought this would be one, but accusing the casino of cheating. Call them out and you might be banned from gambling and from cruising. There was an example of this. A Carnival passenger claimed on Reddit that they were escorted from the casino, banned from gambling, and they had all their future cruises canceled after they accused the staff of cheating. They even received a corporate cease and desist letter. Tampering with ship property. Even something like refilling branded water bottles can end your cruising days. If you've watched any kind of YouTube or TikTok videos, then you've seen instances of this. One example was Carnival permanently banned a passenger after discovering they had refilled and resealed branded bottled water to avoid paying for new ones.
Earlier this year, a Carnival cruise passenger was caught in a viral video tampering with water bottles in her stateroom to avoid paying for them. Carnival Cruise Line's brand ambassador John Heel confirmed the passenger has now been banned for life. The video, viewed over 260,000 times, showed the woman refilling a water bottle from the bathroom tap and resealing it with glue. The incident raised concerns about water safety on board. Carnival Cruise Line's strict response highlights their commitment to passenger safety and the seriousness of tampering and theft.
Of course, romantic or sexual contact with the crew, that can get you blacklisted. Of course, they're going to be in trouble too, but just don't do it.
Are crew members allowed to hook up with passengers? No, but does it happen? Yeah. And have I ever broken the rules? Yeah. Remember this one guy who came on board, he just started his contract, and then the first few days of being on board, we got into a conversation and he told me how he'd been applying to work on cruise ships for years, and he got the job like 8 months ago, but it had taken 8 months for him to actually get on board, and it was such a dream that he was now on board. But 1 week into his contract, he decided to get busy with a passenger. And let's just say he wasn't very discreet about it. So a week after this incident, he got fired. He got sent home.
Aggressive or belligerent behavior. This one goes without saying, obviously. Violence or threats definitely mean instant removal and permanent ban. there's a lot of examples out there. Recently, I don't know if you consider that recent, but 2023, so that was recent. A passenger on Royal Caribbean's Navigator of the Seas assaulted a crew member and made racial threats, leading to not only that they had to restrain him, but they had they put him on a do not sail status.
Only on Fox 11, a wild confrontation caught on camera on a cruise ship. It happened on a ship that left San Pedro bound for Ensenada.
The gentleman that was drunk said that he was going to kill us, and then he started chasing us down the hallway.
Chaos on a cruise caught on camera. Christopher McHale set sail to Ensenada to celebrate he and his wife's birthdays and their anniversary Friday with a dozen family and friends for a long weekend aboard Royal Caribbean's Navigator of the Seas. Not even an hour outside of the port of San Pedro, and when all of a sudden the action came to him. McHale captures these videos showing a man in a possible drunken fit of rage spewing profanity and racial slurs.
The crew member that I was running with was able to lock himself in one of the towel rooms.
McHale says the now shirtless man tries to kick down the door with his steel-toed boots after kicking a crew member in the face and punching another. Armed with pepper spray, towels, zip ties, and handcuffs, this security team is finally able to move in.
Kind of acted like SWAT team and set up like a barrier, and then they attacked. So they just waited for him to kind of run out of energy.
And I can go on and on and on with different examples of things that were in the news and just things that we've seen, not even on the news, but maybe just on social media and things like that. I've seen, obviously, being on cruise ships, I've seen a lot of things where I'm like, come on, man. Even today on this ship here, when I was getting ready to make this video, even today outside, right outside the ship, there's these thick yellow lines on the port that say do not cross, because I think it's maybe 3 or 4 feet where they don't want you that close to the ship, because there's accidents that happen. You've seen on the news and social media where little kids or even, grown adults are falling into the water and hurting themselves, or even worse, because they're not following that policy. So they put that line there, and a lot of times there's someone there with a whistle blowing, telling you to get back from the line, but they weren't there this time. But yeah, people were, I felt like, that part of the Titanic movie where Rose was like, I leaned over to look at the propellers. I felt like that's what those people were doing. Rose was just being facetious, because that's not what she was doing. But I feel like that's what those people were doing. Why you over there looking at the propellers? Leave that doggone ship alone. Follow the doggone rules before you end up getting banned from cruising. And you end up getting us all in trouble because somebody falls over, has an accident. Now we can't get to where we're supposed to go because you done died or hurt yourself. Come on. Come on, man.
Come on, man.
It all can be preventable. But yeah, this video... it's lighthearted, but these things are quite serious. Obviously, I don't know if I would be devastated. I probably would be devastated. I don't know if I would be devastated. I probably would be devastated if I couldn't cruise ever again. Yes. That's not even. But anyway, knowing is half the battle, right? When you use common sense, that's going to cover 99% of things. If you're not sure about something, read the contract, read the policy, check what they say. Even if it's just, a boring moment that you have, or you're sitting down, waiting for a train or Uber or something like that, just scroll through it quickly to see what things you can be banned for cruising, banned for life from cruising if you were to do those things. And just be careful. All right, that's what I have for you today. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you have an amazing day. I'm going to go and do some other stuff. You take a look at this video right here. I hope to see you on the next cruise.